All right. Hi, everyone. So today we have got Ian Hulme with us to share with you his knowledge and his experience. He has come from being former GB international swimmer at senior level, butterfly swimmer, and has now turned his focus to coaching. And he is the head coach at Loughborough University. He's coached on lots of different senior international teams, one of them being for the Commonwealth Games for Team England in 2018. So he's got loads of experience, loads of knowledge that he's here to pass on to you guys today. So welcome Ian. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, guys. It's good to be here. It's always good to chat to you guys, and more than happy to share my knowledge and experience that I've got of the sport to all your fans.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, thanks for doing this. How's the family?
Right.
How's everyone at home?
Yeah, we're good. We're getting by. Yeah, we were just talking about it's a crazy situation that we find ourselves in, but we're trying to be positive, find things to do as a family, keep busy, which is important, and hopefully we come out the end soon. I'm kind of itching to get back to work a little bit. I thought I'd never hear myself say that, but yeah, we're all good, thank you.
Yeah, good, man. I know you swim coaches are like, you need a daily dose of chlorine or you're not that happy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm enjoying not getting up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm enjoying the Lions. That's probably the one good thing. But yeah, I like my routine. I miss, working towards that goal with the swimmers, seeing them, get in, push themselves daily in the pool. I miss that buzz and that excitement of it. So yeah, I am itching to get back a little bit.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting back on deck as well, getting back on poolside and working with everybody. As Amy sort of alluded to earlier, obviously you had your own fantastic swimming career as an athlete. But how did that transition go for you from coach to athlete, and what made you? Yeah, sorry, from athlete to coach, and what made you want to make that switch?
Yeah, I guess I'd say my passion for coaching probably first started as a student athlete at Loughborough. Similar time as when you guys were swimming and studying at Loughborough. And I'd say it comes down to the guy we both know real well, Ian Armiger. I found his passion, his energy, and his enthusiasm for his job. It was infectious, and I thought to myself, I was like, God, I'd love to do that job. I'd love to coach, and I'd love to have that amount of energy and passion for something. So I guess that was my first kind of experience around, what I wanted to do long term. And then I'd say, as my swimming career progressed, I kind of got to a point where I started thinking, what do I want to do after this? And, I was dead against sitting behind a desk 9 till 5 every day. That's not me. And I know so many people do it. I'm not really driven by money. I've always said I wanted to do something that I love and that I enjoy. Both my parents were teachers. My older brother was a teacher. Is a teacher. So I guess teaching / coaching is probably in the family. So it was kind of it seemed like a natural thing for me to do, to kind of move into coaching. I guess towards the back end of my career, especially after I made the World Championship team, I started doing a lot of clinics, visiting clubs, private swim lessons, similar to what you guys are doing now, and try and pass on my knowledge and my experience to the next generation of swimmer. And I found it really rewarding. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed traveling around, seeing different clubs, meeting different people, and I guess those interactions and those experiences really kind of cemented, that this is what I want to do long term. So that was always kind of the dream. And then I had a few more years of swimming. And then after 2012, after the Olympics, unfortunately I didn't make the team. I was like, right, I need to try and pursue this dream of being a coach. And I started volunteering at Loughborough University. Real fortunate, I got a kind of a part-time position in, I think it was September of 2012. It was like a 12-hour-a-week contract, but obviously really enjoyed doing that. And then a situation came up where there was a bit of a transition between coaches leaving the national centre, and there was 3 Olympians who obviously you guys know real well. It was Fran Halsall, Grant Turner, and obviously Liam Tancock, who didn't have a coach leading into the World Short Course Championships of December in 2012, and I was asked if I wanted to work with those guys. So I'm kind of, I'm 2 months into my coaching career. I obviously had a lot of experience as a swimmer and knowledge and understanding, but I had never coached before. So, and I'm asked to coach with these guys for like a 2-month period leading into the World Short Course Championship. So I was so fortunate to be in that position. And it was really one of those cases of, right time, right place, extremely lucky, extremely fortunate to get to do that. And then as that year progressed, my contract turned into, 20 hours a week. And then a job came up at Loughborough, which I applied for, and I fortunately got it. And then since then, I've just kind of progressed through the program. A few structural changes along the way have just kind of helped me get into position now where I'm head coach. So I'm really lucky to be in this position that I am right now.
Yeah, man, that's fantastic. Yeah, I forgot actually that you coached those guys like straight away. What was it like? So, because obviously you trained with all of those guys before. Had you swam with all of them, Grant?
Yeah, at some point I had done. Yeah, it was
strange.
Yeah, it was strange, but I think as you guys know, senior athletes they're very professional. So I don't think it mattered who was on poolside. They showed me the respect as a coach, and I think those guys were more grateful that I was taking time out of my day to work with them, because they were kind of stuck in limbo a little bit, didn't have a coach, like I said, leading into the World Short Course Championship. So, I saw it as a challenge for me. I wasn't necessarily bothered about being paid for it. I just thought it was like something like, I can put this on my CV, and what great experience to get to work with these guys. So yeah, it was a fantastic, it was about 8 weeks we did it, 7 to 8 weeks. And yeah, so yeah, but yeah, to answer your question, they were respectful, they were good, and it was just kind of a mutual agreement that, hey, let's just try and make the best out of this situation. Yeah,
that's beautiful, man. I mean, it shows your demeanor and your confidence as a coach must have been there from an early age for them, for those guys at that level that were high up in their careers to trust you straight away. That says a lot about what you were bringing to poolside, I'd say.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I was late 20s at the time, so I'd like to think I was quite mature, and I'd had those experiences as a swimmer. I'd been on senior international teams with you guys and the likes of them, so I kind of knew how you interact with senior swimmers, what buttons to press to get the best out of them. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, and one that I'll always look back on with fond memories and think how lucky I was to be in that situation so early on in my career.
Fantastic experience. Yeah, definitely. So obviously we're in lockdown. Everyone's in lockdown of some sort, at least right now. All the pools are closed. With your team of athletes that you would normally be seeing on a daily basis, or a couple of times a day at least, how are you coping being away from them and without that interaction, just being away from the pool and being in lockdown?
So the lockdown came a couple of days after we got back from a meet in Edinburgh. So there was an Edinburgh International meet, and we were flying up there on the Thursday, and countries started locking down, and we're getting on this flight thinking, is this meet even going to happen? Like, what is the point in flying up to Edinburgh? So anyway, we got up there, we did the meet, and then obviously we came back, and we were due to go to Turkey on a training camp on the Wednesday, and it was all kind of like, oh, what's happening? The flight's still going. They hadn't cancelled any flights to Turkey, and British Championships were still going on. The Olympics were still going on. So we were kind of just going the first part of that week as normal. And then all of a sudden, obviously, the lockdown came. Our flight to Turkey was cancelled, and then things kind of started snowballing from there. So I'd be lying if I didn't say, at first I was good. Felt pretty deflated with it all. We were at a point, we were going to Turkey to kind of have our last 10-day preparation into the Olympic trials. Excitement was starting to build, and I'd say, I had some swimmers in my group that, I'd still think they were ready to swim fast, and I was quite confident they were going to make the Olympic team or, achieve the goals that were whatever their targets were. So I was a bit deflated because of that. More for the swimmers because they've blood, sweat, and tears for 2 to 3 years to try and make the Olympics, and then that opportunity's gone. After time, I just kind of sat there and I thought, in reality, you know, what we're going through right now collectively is far bigger than swimming. And, you know, when you put it into perspective, you know, it really makes you think like what is important. So I guess that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to, you know, look at the positives. I guess once the Olympics were postponed, it was kind of a bit of a relief. Because at first, you know, when everyone said, you know, our British Championships are cancelled and when's the next date going to be? And everyone was trying to figure out, you know, and scramble to be like, oh, how can we continue to train? Because the Olympics are still going ahead. I think once they were cancelled, it was kind of like, oh, right, bit of relief. Now we can just take a little bit of time, not panic, reflect, refocus, and you know, kind of just start to think about what we can be doing in the short term to prepare our athletes for when we can get back into the pool.
Okay.
Great. I mean, are you in touch with your athletes on a fairly regular basis? Are you kind of doing this with them, or texts or emails or things?
Yeah, I'm trying not to push them too much. I don't want to be, you know, speaking to them every day or every other day. I'm trying to just give them space. I think they don't want to hear, you know, they hear from me every day during the season. They don't want to hear from me. You know, there's a lot of trust there. I trust them that they're, you know, we've got a plan in place. We're real fortunate. We've got a great support team around us, S&C, physio, and they've kind of put out the plans to the swimmers, and I'm trusting that they're doing that. You know, if they're not, that's you know, it's up to them. I mean, you guys know at 18 plus, it's not really our job to force them to do something. There's got to be a lot of self-discipline, self-motivation. So, you know, the tools are there, the programs are there, and hopefully they are doing it. I try and check in with them once a week just to make sure they're all right. I was speaking to a few this morning because they're actually back at university now. In a sense, the lectures have started, so there's a lot of online platforms for them to kind of carry on their studies. So just to kind of check in from an academic perspective, you know, how they're doing, do they need any support from us? So yeah, I'm trying to give them space as much as I can.
How are they, overall, how are you guys doing? What are they feeling about it all?
I think they're fine. You know, there was a few people who were gutted, obviously, at first. You know, we've got guys who obviously due to graduate this summer, and they were kind of hanging on to train for the Olympics. So I guess their plans have changed. I've got a few girls who are leaving to go to the US to do a master's degree out there, and obviously the dream and the goal was always to kind of try and take them through to the Olympics, but unfortunately, obviously, that's not going to happen. But they're still planning on, you know, going to the US, which is definitely the right move for them. So they're trying to embrace it with a positive mindset, and that's what I've tried to portray from the start. It's like, let's not dwell on this. Let's not be negative. You know, it is what it is. As simple as that sound. You know, we're all in this together. Let's look on the positives, and you know, this can be an opportunity to grow, to develop, and we've just got to embrace it.
Yeah, you tend to come across a lot of hurdles as athletes. This is just quite an unusual one, isn't it? No one's really experienced this one before, so
no,
it's great looking at it from that point of view.
Yeah, I feel like as swimmers, we're probably in a sport where we're going to struggle a little bit more than maybe others. Like if you're a runner, you're still allowed to go out and train. You can still run every day. If you're a cyclist, it's like paradise out there for cyclists now.
Yeah.
There's no cars on the road, and until yesterday, like in England, we've had like fantastic weather, so we've been really lucky like that. But obviously, swimming, you kind of need that pool. You need to keep that feel going. So, I mean, you alluded to it a little bit there on, like, obviously, the Olympics now is pushed back to 2021, and so is the Paralympics. So, how do you restructure your timetable and your plans, and what advice do you give your guys to, like, keep the fitness up? Like you said, there's S&C plans in place, but you know, what else are they having to think about?
I mean, you know, we looked at it when everyone went home. Was like, what can we do and what can't we do? Yeah. So obviously, the main one is we can't swim, right? Let's just accept it, and let's try and figure out some way of keeping some form of aerobic conditioning. So you're looking at, you know, your two options really. Are you going to sit on a bike and you're going to run? And I'd say one of the biggest challenges we've faced is around swimmers who haven't got a bike or haven't got a stationary bike or haven't been able to rent one or buy one. And, you know, usually swimmers are fish out of water. They can't do much on land. So a lot of the feedback we're getting from the swimmers is the challenges around running, getting, you know, knee injuries, ankle injuries, a lot of problems through that. So we're trying our best in that sense to keep up that level of aerobic conditioning. People are kind of, we're in week 5 or 6 now, so they're starting to get used to the running side of things. And I guess another challenge is, what's the limited equipment that people have. Some people have weights, but you go into the gym at Loughborough and you're spoiled. You've got 1 through 10, and then you've got every dumbbell going. So you're going to be very specific and very, very prescriptive with the weights that you're using. So that's been a little bit of a challenge. But we kind of sat down and we looked at like what people can do and what they can't do. So like I said, we've got a great support team. So our S&C coach is running some kind of HIIT circuits on the Zoom platform. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday we're doing those. Tuesday, Thursday we've got our Pilates instructor running Pilates. We've tried to send out gym programs, a bit of a range, so strength development, but a range based on the equipment that you've got. So almost like a bit of a jigsaw. We've sent out loads of information. You try and build your own program from that. And then other days we've obviously got the conditioning stuff. If you can't go out for a run, we'll go out for a 90-minute walk. Okay, you're not going to maybe burn as much calories or have your heart rate up, but it's at least keeping you active. So I think you can, as long as you're doing half an hour to an hour each day, I think you can maintain some level of condition. I think the biggest one is the feel for the water. As swimmers, we rely heavily on that feel for the water, and I see a lot of stuff online, people buying these huge paddling pools and they're static swimming and stuff, and I think that's great, but if you haven't got access to that, I wouldn't say, I don't think you should panic. I just think as long as you're maintaining some level of conditioning, it'll come back pretty quick in the water. And we've just got to reassess, where we are. It might be that, usually we break up for a month in August. It might be that, we only give the guys 2 weeks in August, depending on when we obviously get back in the water. So plans will obviously change. But we've just got to get through it at this certain point, try and keep it engaging and challenging. We've got a few of the girls who are trying to do 20 pull-ups. So they've got kind of a pull-up bar attached to whatever in the house. And that challenge in itself has tried to keep them motivated and chasing, although it's not, seeing how fast I can do 100 freestyle or a 200 breaststroke or whatever. It's challenging them in a different way to stay engaged, with physical activity.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're right.
Sorry, yeah. I mean, speaking of challenges, obviously they're having to adapt quite a bit. The challenges that they're facing every day as athletes, as swimmers. For you, have you been doing any of these challenges that have been going around at home, or have you been finding other ways to challenge yourself at home?
I'll be honest, I haven't done any of the challenges that have gone around. I've been tagged in a few, like the 5K run or the press up challenge. I haven't done any of them, but I am trying to do 1 hour of exercise every day. That's kind of and that's a big deal for me. I mean, I don't do much. Usually a lot of my time is spent walking up and down poolside. I actually got an Apple Watch last week, just to try and, look at my calories, look at my steps each day and try and keep motivated in that sense. So I am doing an hour every day of I rely heavily on a routine. I think I told you guys that earlier. So I've kind of, Monday and Friday is usually sitting on a bike in the garage. I've just downloaded the Peloton app, so I'm trying to keep up with that. Tuesday and Thursday, I'm trying to do some form of kind of body weight stuff. I've got a few basic dumbbells, a bar, so I'm trying to do little things. And then Wednesday is the one every week I hate. I'm trying to go for a run. I haven't managed to do 5K without stopping yet, but I'm hoping that next week will be the week that I get build up to that. I'm trying to just have an hour each day just to try and keep myself busy, stick to the routine. Like I said, we've got 2 young kids. We're trying to homeschool. So, we're pretty busy and the days go pretty quick. I walk the dog for an hour each day. So that's an hour out of my day where I sit and listen to a podcast. So although I'm not doing challenges, I'm trying to set myself little challenges in terms of, listen to 45 minutes of podcasts every day and little things like that, just to try and, keep ticking over so that I'm not just doing nothing and just sat watching TV every day.
Yeah.
Any good podcast recommendations?
So I've been listening to a famous Australian swimmer, Brett Hawke. He's done some real good ones.
Okay.
There's a guy, the poolside pass, who I believe is, his name is Jamie from Birmingham. That's a good one. And then a guy called Alistair McCaw, who's the guy who runs Champion Minded.
Okay.
I think so the first two there are swim specific, whereas this one is not more. It's more about, you know, having a champion mindset and attitude and character and stuff like that. So I'm actually really enjoying listening to that.
Oh, good.
Oh, great.
I feel like one of the big things for me at the minute is like adaptability, being able to just sort of roll with it. And then, like you say, find these new routines. And before you know it, like a lot of people keep asking me, "You're bored? Are you bored?" I'm like, no, like you said a minute ago, the days just seem to be shooting round, or the weeks are going round quite quickly when we feel like on paper I should have loads of free time.
Yeah.
Well, I did a nutrition course myself just to pick something new up, and yeah, so I'm trying. If you've got any good podcast recommendations, so I can pick up a few more things, that'd be cool, actually.
Yeah, and to be honest, guys, for me, it's, you know, I'm enjoying being a dad.
Yeah.
You know, a swimming coach can, you know, sometimes, you know, takes you away for weekends. You know, we do camps where I'm away for 2 weeks at a time, early mornings, late evenings. And, you know, I'm enjoying sitting down as a family, having a meal every day. You know, we never do that. So every day we sit down, we have a meal, you know, we have lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, all together as a family. You know, I do the bedtime routine, which is amazing. You know, we go out, little girls learning to ride a bike. We do that for kind of an hour each evening. So I'm just enjoying being a dad. It's just, and it's amazing. And then obviously the homeschooling thing is a challenge and something that it's taken us a few weeks to get used to, but, you know, we're enjoying it. It's really rewarding. You know, when we pick our little girl up from school, you know, she tells us about the day, but you're not physically there in the classroom. So you don't know what they're doing. And it's a new kind of, you know, it's a whole new experience for me to just, you know, try and teach, you know, adding, subtracting, and little things like that. I'm really, really enjoying it.
Sounds good, man. One thing I did notice there is you're losing your northern connection. Breakfast, dinner, tea. You know it is. You need to.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't lived in the Northeast for such a long time. I think my accent's all over the shop at the minute.
Yeah, man, good stuff. Yeah, go for it.
So at the moment, what would you say your best advice to swimmers out there is, whether it's athletes like you're working with at a senior level or age group athletes and their parents, more like the guys that we work with? What would your advice be?
So I think first and foremost, don't panic. All right. You know, if we're out of the water 3 months, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is, you know, I really think it's, you know, that period of time is a drop in the ocean. All right. Yeah. And I think it could be the opportunity for your body to, you know, to the well-earned rest it's needed to recover, to adapt. You know, we usually find some of our guys, you know, we give them 4 weeks off in August and they come back in September. And although they've been out of the water for 4 weeks, it's like they come back and they've got this new lease of life. So I think, you know, it's such a small period of time, like in the grand scheme of things. So I think first of all, you know, don't panic. And one thing I was guilty of right away, you know, I was looking to see what everyone was doing on social media. And like I said before, you know, everyone who's got these, you know, these inflatable tanks and doing static swimming and stuff, and you start to think like, oh, should my guys be doing that? And the worst thing you can do is compare against what somebody else is doing. Everybody's situation is different. So try, and this is not against those guys who've gone out and bought those things, you know, no. Good on you. And, you know, if that's what you feel you need to do, then by all means, go ahead and do it. Like I said, everyone is different. So don't compare to somebody else, and don't try and think, you know, oh, I've got to do something just because somebody else is doing it. I'd say the next thing that we've talked about already, you know, is like find a routine that works for you. Set goals each day, each week. Have a plan. Have a goal. Like I said, some of our girls are trying to hit 20 pull-ups. It might be, you know, you're trying to hit 20 press-ups, 30 press-ups, sit-ups, or whatever. Just set little goals, little challenges, because I do think that'll, you know, keep you engaged and keep you motivated. And I think a big one for me is, you know, use this time to try and work on a weakness. And, you know, some people might say, well, my weakness is, you know, some part of my freestyle technique or my butterfly technique. How can I do that if I'm not in the water? But, you know, a limiting factor to that might be, for example, flexibility. So, you know, use this time wisely to work on something that will at some point have a direct transfer into what you're trying to work in the long run. And I'd say something with, flexibility for us is something that we're really trying to push. It's usually if something is going to give way in our training program, it's usually probably flexibility, because, at 8 o'clock at night when the guys get out of the water, they don't want to stretch after training. They want to get home. They want to eat. They might have some coursework or some university work to do, or, age group kids might be getting in a car for 45 minutes to drive home. So it's probably the first thing that is usually kind of pushed to the side in any form of program. So, work on flexibility during this time. Everyone has so much time right now. So, use it wisely, because that additional flexibility might at some point transfer into a limiting factor within your technique. And ultimately for me in all of this, life goes by so quickly. I tell you guys this all the time, with my little girl's 5, like how quick the last 5 years have gone. Just enjoy this break, enjoy it, don't worry, and just enjoy spending that extra time with your family if you obviously have that capacity to do so. But don't try and wish this time away to rush to get back in the water, because it, in the grand scheme of things, it's such a small period of time, and there's way bigger and way worse things going on out there. I just think you should just live in the moment and just enjoy it.
Yeah. So you've got your family quiz this evening then?
Yes.
Been new during lockdown for you?
Yeah, we won one week, we were second another week, so pressure's on this week.
Well, you're doing better than us. We've been in the bottom 2 every week so far.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's good fun. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not a massive, I don't usually pick up the phone and call my parents as much as I should do. So it has been a good. Yeah, that's probably that. It has been a great opportunity, just once a week, just to sit down for an hour and just, everyone's on the screen, my brothers, their wives, family, and just chat and have a laugh. And so it's, there is good things to come out of this break for sure. Yeah.
Mate, that was some absolutely fantastic advice there. I think you sent around to everybody, and
no worries.
I think we'll let you go there, because that was you wrapped it up really, really well. So yeah, thanks again for giving us your time, mate, and sharing your messages with everyone.
Yeah, all the best to you, your family, and all your athletes and everything as well. I hope that they're ready to hit the ground running when everything gets back to normal.
Yeah, no, thanks guys. So I like to say, it's always good to talk to you guys, and what you're doing is fantastic. Sharing your knowledge with the next generation of swimming. I look at it, where I've, I was nowhere near the same level as you guys, but I chose the coaching path. Working in a performance setting in big groups, but all credit to what you guys do. Working with individuals, refining technique. I think you guys are doing an amazing job. So keep at it.
Thanks very much, mate.
Right.
Take care, guys.
See you later.
Cheers.
See you later.
Bye. All you guys.